Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to, I got something else going on here. The new steering box has got to go in anyway. So I was taking a look at my intermediate shaft for the steering column. And this is the new one, but the boot on it was torn and grease is coming out. So I thought I'd just take this thing off, look at it, clean it up, put the new and grease boot, whatever you're gonna call this thing. So one finally came in. It's been a week. And there's a tear in the boot there, so I thought, you know what, I ordered one already. Let's just replace that. It's not that big a deal. There's a spring clip. I know I was into this already, so I'm doing a little catch up here. So there's a spring clip. There's two sort of indentations here. I'll bring it up right here and here. These fit into the slots, one on each side, right here, and you kind of press this thing in, and it snaps down in the groove right here. Not too hard to understand that. So once you get that out, this just pulls apart like so, and you got this part right here. It's the coupler, got a bunch of grease in it, and then you have this end, and I've already taken the stuff off. There's a couple of blocks that go on. There's one on each side, and then there's a clip. I'll get it. It's in the parts cleaner. On this clip, it's some kind of retainer. I'm not sure of its function. I think it's some sort of spreader of sorts. Not sure. No special way it goes in, but I think it keeps the blocks spread apart and up against this area here to get full engagement. I'm pretty sure that's what that functions for. But anyway, so that all comes off, and so now this pin is pressed in, so that's pretty much permanent. There is a spring clip, so depending on what model car you have and what year it was made and all this and that, you might get a variety of fasteners. Because looking at other YouTube videos, there's just been all kinds. There's like a plethora of devices holding this thing on. Slightly different styles of these intermediate shafts as well. So this is off of a 1970 Pontiac Lemans Sport. Just want to make that clear right now. And there is a spring clip on here. And how they got this installed at the factory, I'll never know. But it was really strong. I was prying up on it. One of the prongs snapped and failed, so that released some pressure on it. And this usually lives up here and gets up like that when you got that ring retainer on. So anyway, I was able to pull this down, and now, so my next thought was, we want to get the new one. How do I get the new one on? I mean, am I going to like stretch and pull it across these pins or what? So I don't think I'm going to be doing that. And so looking at, I don't got it aligned right now because I already got this thing apart. If you look across the two flat parts on either side of your shaft, you'll see two circle indentations. And this is where some probably aluminum pins, I'm not sure what they were made of, because when I drilled them out, the filings were magnetized, so maybe some sort of low-grade steel pins they put in there, and these would break and collapse in the event of an accident and help prevent the steering column from coming up into your face or your chest. So anyway, I drilled those out. They're real easy. 1/4-inch drill, went right through like butter. So now how do you get it out? This is what I did. This thing in a vise, any kind of rod device that you can come up with. I got a piece of rebar here. This slicks right up this end right here. Goes right up in there. And you just hit it on the end until it comes out. And of course I've already had mine out, so yeah. but it didn't take too much effort to whack that out of there. So now you got it apart. Now I can pull off the boot. So that's what I'm gonna do, is slide this off. Whoop, that even ripped. So, gone is the old boot. Whoop. So now, once I got this apart, and once I get again, I'm gonna emphasize, you know, different kind of intermediate steering shafts, different kind of cars, who knows. When I pulled this out, and these areas here where the pins were at, this is what I found. These sort of melted plastic things, or whatever you want to call, and they were like this. And so yeah, it's like this. Get a good shot of it here if I can. Here, now. So this is what it looks like. Just molded plastic stuff that I think somehow was. Will it focus? Can you see? There you go. That stuff right there. And this just, and I just picked at it for a second, right? And it's really loose. And I thought, how deep does this go down? You know, is this like a structural thing or what? It's not. I think that at the factory, this was placed on here, heated, and then rammed up into the, and then it was, you know, put together while it was still hot. And this is something I think that was done to prevent dirt and moisture from creeping up the inside here, and, you know, causing all kind of corrosion mayhem. But since this car never was going to see a winter again, I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But there you go. That's a disassembly of the intermediate shaft. I don't have the new boot right now, so when that comes, I'll be able to finish this video. I'm going to put it on the wire wheel here and clean it up, and I've got the other parts cleaned up as well, and I just wire wheeled them, cleaned it up real nice, and I'm going to put some clear on them and call it good, and just leave that sort of natural patina that's on them, that's been on there for the past 50 some years. So that's what I'm going to do with this one right now. I'm just going to run it on the wire wheel and spiff it up a little bit and put some clear on that and call it good. Along with the intermediate shaft, there's another little thing I've been wanting to do, and it's the positive cable coming off the battery that runs down to the starter. I probably had this in a previous episode somewhere, but I'm bringing it up again because it's something I'm getting into while the clear coat's drying on the intermediate steering shaft. Yeah, so I don't know what I was thinking, but I did want to keep the cable away from the headers. So this is what I had hooked up from before. It was going underneath and in between the A-arm. You can see right there, that's a no-go. Let's just keep it, you know. And so I've started the disassembly process and the rerouting process. I really want to do this. Since the starter is on the left side of the engine, let me get some light on here. Okay. So I will zoom in. Those three wires right there are the ones that run down to the starter. And so what I was hoping to do is take this and come behind or in between the proportioning valve here, somehow get this all together, you know, and do a test fit, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, and run the cable along the firewall here somehow. And this is where the windshield wiper motor goes, so maybe like right underneath that, and then somewhere along here, and then make a 90-degree U-turn and go down to the starter down there. Those of you that know anything about these 60s and 70s car, they have all of them got this type of starter on it. nice lightweight thing, weighs 25 or 30 pounds. And so I've got the bolts out, and it got it supported by a jack, and just getting the wires out now. If you're a mechanic of sorts and know where all these wires go, hey, that's great. If you don't, modern technology, it comes to the rescue. Take your cell phone, get up here like this, and snap a couple of pictures, and there you go. You know what you're doing when you go to hook this thing back up. I'm going to cut the camera off here and get some tools on this and extract this thing out, and continue on from there. Okay, the parts are dry. Let's put it together. The intermediate shaft for the steering column. So when they originally built this at the factory, they put this ungodly heavy metal clip right around here to seal the grease in. And it's not like it's under any kind of pressure or centrifugal forces or anything like that. So I thought it was overkill. I don't have another spring clip or anything like it, so I'm going to use a zip tie, and I think that's going to work just fine. So before I do that, I got to wipe this grease off so I can see what I'm doing here. Let's see. All right, let's get this thing out of here. Slide this up here like so. Just kind of slides up and stops. There you go. Okay. Wrap this zip tie around. Call it good. Now this clip just goes down over. There's two, if you look at it, you can see two little bend outs in it, and they go into these slots on either side. This ought to be a joy to get into, because it was really in there when I was taking this apart. Alright, I got it started. I'm going to take this here. I wish I could get the camera down here for you guys, but I got the one end in, and you really got to like get a screwdriver on each one of these slots when you got that new boot in there, and really like pry down and get that sucker sealed in, or you're never going to get this clip in and get it stuck in those slots. And once you do that, it's a little slippery from the grease. So if I can only, yeah, this will work if I can get this thing maneuvered in here. Alright. There it is. That's it. How about that? Okay. So I'll show you what I mean by the... So every car is different. How they put it together at the factory, all this and that. This has got a little coating of grease on it, so I'm going to wipe this down real quick. Where are the ends? Okay, so let me just get... I'm going to get this down here, and I'll get the camera down here. That'll be easier. Alright. So this is what I meant by one end sticks up a little bit. So here's the snap ring. You can see it in there. Now, I'll point out to you that this end right here is kind of like down in there, right? And if you look real close, on this end of it, you see that little indentation there where they actually put a jog in that thing right there. And this, when I was taking this apart, this was actually sticking up a little bit. So when I was first starting to put this in, that's why I was having so much trouble, that I'd forgotten about that little point right there. And so there you go. So anyway, getting back to the final assembly of this thing. Here's the clamp that goes on. We're up at the steering column. Here's the special tightening bolt. Alright, it goes on there like so, loosely until it. I got a couple of little cheapo machine screws here. I'm gonna put back in. I drilled this out so I can get this apart and service this thing. I'll trim those down when the time comes. And not only that, before I put this together, I'm going to make sure that that contact's bare. Put that clear coat on there. Now that won't make contact. Now I won't have a ground. Okay, that is it for tonight. Thank you for stopping over and watching my content. Please like and subscribe and share. Ooh, I finally passed 300 subscribers. Thanks for the extra people coming on board from the last 2 weeks. So, like I said, it's late. I got a new work schedule and it's time to shut it down. So, everybody, be cool.